I've spent over a year in both of these hammocks. Stay tuned, I'm literally going to do a side-by-side comparison of them.
Welcome to the main event. And on this tree from Evergreen, Colorado, weighing in at 1 pound 15 ounces, 11 feet long and 62 inches wide, with webbing, buckles, and an integrated bug net, it's $245. It's the double layer Warbonnet XLC. And on this tree, also from Evergreen, Colorado, weighing in at 2 pounds 14 ounces, with webbing, buckles, an integrated bug net, and saddlebags, it's $210. It's the double layer Ridgerunner.
The Ridgerunner is a bridge hammock. A bridge hammock is a hammock that has spreader bars on the head side and down on the foot side. Now the Ridgerunner will hold a person up to about 6'2", about 250 pounds. It feels narrower than the XLC, but because of the bridge, it's a better option for people who like to roll over and lay on their sides. So the XLC is what's called an asymmetrical gathered end hammock. That means that the ends are gathered together or bunched up, and it isn't symmetrical. This particular hammock has a foot box on the right side. A foot box is extra material where you put your feet over on that side. And on this side, my left side, there's extra fabric for my head. I lie at a diagonal. Now the XLC can hold a 350-pound person who's up to 6.5 feet tall. So this is the best option for someone who's big. It's also the best option for someone who likes to sleep in the fetal position because it is so wide, you have extra room to do that. This is a double layer XLC, which means that there are 2 layers of hammock underneath. That way, if you want, you can put a pad or insulation in between the 2 layers. Now over here on the Ridgerunner from Warbonnet, this is also a double layered hammock. You can see here, there's space in between there where you can shove a pad underneath for insulation. There are numerous suspension systems for both hammocks. Straps and buckles are what I have on both of my hammocks because I think they are the easiest to use. The XLC is an 11-foot hammock that needs at least 13 feet between trees. Your strap should hang at about 30 degrees. This can be measured easily with your finger and thumb. On an XLC, your foot end should be at least 16 inches higher than your head. It's deceiving because with the asymmetrical design, you lay pretty level. In the Ridgerunner, you need 2 more feet between trees, at least 15 feet. The straps are a bit tighter at about 20 degrees and your feet should only be about 12 inches higher than your head. The suspension is also different. Ropes divide to the end of your spreader bars. Because of the wider suspension, if you have a tarp with doors, you need a longer tarp. So an XLC can be hung on trees at a minimum of 13 feet apart and under an 11-foot tarp, while the Ridgerunner needs more space of at least 15 feet and your tarp needs to be 13 feet long. Now in my hammocks, I elect to use the pull-out bars on my tarps. This makes a little bit more room inside, as well as I stake out the doors on my rain fly to the ground, pulling the doors out. That also makes more room. So if you're camping in a hammock in a cold weather state like Minnesota, you most likely will have what's called an underquilt. An underquilt is similar to a sleeping bag, but it is just on the bottom of you and it goes on the outside of the hammock. If you were to lay in a sleeping bag on a hammock, you're going to compress all that insulation and you're going to be cold. So this puts that insulation outside of the hammock where it isn't compressed. Underquilts for gathered end hammocks like the XLC are usually wider, have more material, and are heavier, while the Ridgerunner underquilt is narrower, lighter, and attaches at the corners. Both hammocks have a lot of storage. Now the XLC has a Ridgeline. That's the rope that runs from the foot end to the head end. And when you have a Ridgeline, you can put a Ridgeline organizer where you can stuff some of your more important things up there. I have my phone in mine right now. The XLC also has a huge sidecar on it. On the back side here, there's a huge storage compartment. I've taken the bug net off of the Ridgerunner so you can see that there is no Ridgeline on a Ridgerunner. So you do not have the opportunity to hang your phone on a Ridgeline organizer. But it does have these huge saddlebags on both sides, so there is plenty of storage. Now the XLC has a tie-out on both sides. And what these tie-outs do is it spreads out the hammock and keeps the bug net off of you. On the back side, it helps keep that sidecar away from you while you're laying in your hammock. The drawback of these tie-outs is if you have a 90-year-old prostate like I do and have to pee multiple times a night, this tie-out really gets in the way. With your rain fly going over the top, plus this, it makes it a little bit harder to stand up and navigate out here to go out and do your business. Yep, getting old really sucks.
When comparing the true weight difference of the hammocks, you need to look beyond the hammock itself. First, the Ridgerunner with the spreader bars is slightly heavier than the Blackbird XLC. Then I compared the 13-foot mountain fly for the Ridgerunner versus the 11-foot mountain fly for the Blackbird. The spreader bars for the tarps were identical in weight for both systems. Next, I looked at stakes. I have 2 extra stakes on the Blackbird XLC versus the Ridgerunner and used Walmart stakes for the weight comparison. Next, I have the tie-outs and carabiners and the stuff sack for the doors, which is identical for both systems. When comparing underquilt weights, I used 2 Warbonnet underquilts. First, the Wookiee XL 20-degree underquilt for the XLC, and then the 20-degree Lynx full-length underquilt for the Ridgerunner. So in summary, the Ridgerunner hammock itself weighs 14.4 ounces more than the Blackbird XLC. Its tarp weighs 2.4 ounces more. However, its stakes weigh 1.6 ounces less, and the underquilt weighs 4.25 ounces less. So in total, the Ridgerunner ends up weighing just under 11 ounces more than the Blackbird XLC.
So I prefer the Ridgerunner. It's a little bit more comfortable for me. Now it doesn't have a Ridgeline. It's a little bit heavier, but it's a little easier to pee out of. In sub-freezing temperatures, I prefer the XLC because I like that underquilt wrapping around me. It's a little bit more immersive and it keeps me warmer at night. So Ridgerunner or XLC, I call this battle a draw because both of them are great hammocks. Hey, if you like this video, I encourage you to hit subscribe down here or check out these other 2 videos. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you back out on the trail. What the hell?